I can't believe I'm about to say this. So Jake Paul's promotion, MVP, just announced Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano in May on Netflix. When what has been a pretty slow week in MMA, nobody expected this fight. We heard maybe rumors about Ronda Rousey potentially fighting for MVP on Netflix against someone, but no one expected this. But honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm pretty excited for it. And the circumstances surrounding this fight are honestly a little weird, but there have been stranger bouts in MMA. This MMA fight will be in a hexagon, which is the kind of ring Strikeforce used, instead of the usual octagon like the UFC. Both Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano fought in Strikeforce. Ronda Rousey hasn't fought in 10 years, and Gina Carano hasn't fought in 17. Ronda Rousey left on a 2-fight losing streak, both of them being knockouts. Meanwhile, Gina left on a 1-fight losing streak, also being a knockout. Ronda Rousey left MMA and then ruined her image with MMA fans, and Gina Carano left MMA to pursue acting. Ronda Rousey fought at women's bantamweight, while Gina Carano fought at featherweight. Gina Carano was known for struggling with weight cuts and usually had her own opponents move up a little bit to fight her. But the fight being at featherweight is honestly a good choice, I think, especially after all these years away from fighting for both of them. I feel a little weird talking about women's weight classes like this, but I'm strictly talking MMA terms, YouTube. I'm calling it right now. Those weigh-ins are gonna go crazy. But like I said, weird circumstances. This fight honestly should have been made 10 years ago, and it kind of was.
2014, there were some intense rumors that you were in talks with the UFC to fight Ronda Rousey. How close were you to actually fighting Ronda Rousey and fighting in the UFC?
So I remember Dana had finally called after all these years, searching for a team and like feeling all that pressure. And then he sent me a text message that said, this bitch isn't like something us around, like, you know, effing us around or something like that. And I sent a text message back. I said, I think that you sent that to the wrong person. And he said, I don't think I did. And that was the last conversation that we had over text message, because I don't think that was like the kind of environment I wanted to come back into. And so I just cut all communication after that text.
I know there's many people who think this fight shouldn't have been made. This is the equivalent of making Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 3. But if Dana White made this fight, they'd be kissing his ass. And you already know Dana's going to be so pissed when they ask him all these questions at the upcoming press conferences. What's the question? What do I think about Ronda versus Gina? Yeah, wait until you see Mackenzie versus Jandiroba 3 at the White House. Why don't you suck on that, Netflix? Again, maybe a little overdue, but you know what? I'll take it. Better Nate than never.
But I was 9 months pregnant, and I saw a video of Gina Carano giving an interview, and she didn't look good. She gained like an unhealthy amount of weight, and my first thought was like, oh my God, what can I do? What can I do to help? And
Rousey basically saying, I was 9 months pregnant and I saw that she was getting fat, so I'm gonna fight her, is insane. This whole backhanded compliment is classic Ronda Rousey. And look, I'm not someone to pocket watch people. People can do whatever they want with their own money. But from what I've seen and heard in the MMA space, not to mention that Gina's family is very rich, being executives and owners of many casinos, I think you, Rousey, need this more than her. Ronda is such a narcissist. It might sound like I'm being very rude, but if you kept up with Rousey in big 2026, she's pretty much burned all her good faith with MMA fans. But even with all the burned bridges, she's still a major star, and everyone knows her name. There is a large amount of people I've seen online trash this fight and call it bad and stupid and dated as hell. And you know what? They might be right. But at the same time, I'm still hyped as hell. It's still a massive fight, and everyone is still gonna sit down and watch this. Even the detractors. And it's got more hype than most UFC fights right now, even if it is for the casual public. And honestly, it probably will pull more numbers in the White House.
Here's my biggest take, my biggest stance on this. If I am Dana White, or whoever actually makes matches over at the UFC, because Dana White claims it's not him, if I am Dana White, the moment this news came out this morning, I am on the phone with Conor McGregor, I am on the phone with Jon Jones. I cannot afford for my White House card to not be the biggest event of the year. I cannot afford a month before, or 2 months before the White House card for Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey to be a massive show. God forbid, if they get somebody big in the co-main event, if there's a free agent MMA fighter out there that they lock up in a good matchup, and you add that to Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey, there's almost no way that you're going to be able to do a bigger event unless you call Conor McGregor and unless you call John Jones. So if they were banking on the idea of Ilya Taporia versus Justin Gaethje being the headliner, that would be the moment I would have hopped on the phone and called one of those boys, because I think you have to match this. If the numbers come out on this and it's on Netflix and it's a massive show, and I'm a partner at Paramount or somebody within the UFC, and I'm looking at this and going, we just paid $7.7 billion, and these guys on Netflix, MVP and Netflix, just put on the biggest event of the year, that would feel like a smack in my face. So you better be hustling to get Conor McGregor, because that's what I would be doing.
It's a pretty controversial take, but I do have to agree with Chris here. It's really close to the White House card, and it's a casual heavy fight on Netflix of all things. I had my own family members and friends text me more about this one fight in one day than they've ever had in pretty much my entire time of me being an MMA fan. This fight is on Netflix. Everyone has Netflix. Ronda may not be as popular anymore, but everyone still knows her name. And if you're on Netflix and see this appear, hell yeah, you're gonna tune in. It's for the filthy casuals, not us UFC fans. And the same thing honestly goes for Conor McGregor on the White House, so I don't see why I'm seeing the hypocrisy here. You throw in a great co-main with a big name that's a free agent, like Nate Diaz or Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, who have already been on their boxing cards for MVP. They already have a lot of names, and I do think it's going to be a semi-freak show of a card, but you know what? We need this once in a while. Mixed martial arts is a super unserious sport at times, and we must remember the days of pride and affliction. We need other promotions to do these things sometimes, just for fun. I don't think we'll ever see an MMA promotion get to the level of the UFC, obviously, but there is something special about a star shining as bright as it can. It may not last long, but goddamn it, is it beautiful. If Netflix actually promotes this fight, there might be a problem. Just look at Jake Paul. He might actually have the mark of the beast, but goddamn it, can he cut a promo and have everyone talking about it. I want to see what else Most Valuable Promotions does. They are labeling it as their first MMA promotion, and it really does go to show that they plan to get some momentum and have plans for other fights with their massive viewer base on Netflix. And the fact that Jake Paul's company promotes fighters better than the UFC should worry people. If Jake Paul's promotion so much as posts the weigh-ins on their story, the UFC cards in May might actually be cooked.
Take a moment.
Cool. Can you give me a sec?
Alan, we are so fucked.
Look, say what you want, but the numbers will probably be higher than any main UFC card this year, even with the Paramount deal. You know Netflix are going to post those numbers on social media, and it will piss the Paramount team off, especially with the Warner Bros. Situation going on right now. It's now or never for the UFC. The UFC should have been full steam ahead going into this new year with this no partner in this new era. UFC 324 was a pretty good card on paper. UFC 325 was pretty much just a fight night with a title fight. The fight nights themselves have been looking rough so far. 326 looks good, but the rest of this year looks scary. We still don't know what UFC 327 looks like, and it's less than 6 weeks away. And it looks like the White House card will most likely just suck all the life of this year in terms of title fights and super fights. This is going to be a repeat of UFC 300 back in 2024. And I knew a fair share amount of people who mentally just checked out the whole year because there was nothing else to look forward to. Because again, it sucked all the life that year apart from the Pereira fights. The marketing as well is non-existent. The hype for fights is at an all-time low. There's almost nothing to look forward to except the White House, which again will most likely just suck all the life this year in terms of super fights and title fights. In the new era, at a time when the promotion needs this more than ever, Justin Gaethje versus Ilya Taporia, most likely being the main event, probably won't cut it. Even if we have a Conor McGregor, Alex Pereira, or Jones, it will be massive. Do not get me wrong. But the sheer amount of users on Netflix alone is a problem whether you like it or not. They need to stop waiting for the fans to come to them and go to them. For the love of God, at least make a commercial or a proper fight announcement for upcoming fights instead of Dana's 480p fucking DSi. Either way, I'm all for this fight. It's nice to have more MMA things that aren't just UFC or hell, even the PFL. With Most Valuable Promotions, it'll be interesting to see what they do. What will the pacing be? What will the payment be like? Do they intend MVP MMA to be a true MMA promotion or just something to put on fun fights? What other fights could they do? Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier maybe? We might get yet another MMA promotion that will have a lot of more crafty vets fighting each other and doing rematches. The more time goes by, the more things stay the same. Either way, I'm excited for the fight and what the co-main could be. I do think Ronda Rousey will most likely win the fight, if it goes to the floor especially, but if the fight stays on the feet, hell, Karana could have the edge with her Muay Thai. It may have been a while for both of these women, but I doubt this fight is going to go the distance. 5 5-minute rounds. Oof. Anyways, what do you guys think about this fight? Will you be watching Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano? Will you be watching the weigh-ins? Don't forget to like the video if you like the video and subscribe. And the loser of this fight is getting vaccinated.
And try and like keep distance and keep far away from me and get me frustrated to a point I'll make a mistake and she can try and kick me in the head, but it's not going to go like that. Not the way that she wants.
Ronda's in trouble. She's hurt.